Hey everyone, I'm Aman Singh here with the first ever episode of Table Talk. I'm here with Annie Pham and Danny Gomez. We're here at on Chapman's main campus on a beautiful day in front of Oliphant Hall and Memorial Hall. We're going to talk about some really interesting topics about the community and also talk about some hot topics about Chapman itself. And we're just going to discuss Orange County in general. So we should just get started. Just jump right into it. You guys want to introduce yourselves? Probably.
Well, I'm Annie, and this is Danny.
I can introduce myself.
Okay, okay, all right.
You did a very good job, and
Thank you.
it's kind of getting confusing with people like calling out our names though, because they're so similar.
Yeah.
Annie, Danny.
Yeah.
Danny.
Yeah.
Can I just mold you into one? Well, then it's Danny.
And
We
Danny
can
with
call
two
you
N's.
Manny.
There you
if feel
go.
left
That
out.
works better.
Okay,
So you guys, I'm a second year.
I'm a third year.
You're a third year
I'm a
too.
third year, yes.
So you guys have been here one more year than me, and I don't know if you guys have witnessed this, but I came in on a bigger class. I know it was probably bigger than your class. There have been a lot of overcrowding issues at Chapman.
I agree, because when I came in here, what I really noticed was how small the campus was, because I have a lot of friends that go to Fullerton Community College, and I've been on their campus a couple times, and it is just swarming with people. And so when I came here as a freshman, I was really impressed. And then last year, it was supposedly like the biggest class that Chapman had ever accepted, and it was a lot of people. And then this year, it was an even bigger class, and I think it's definitely making an impact on the school.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that we're widening our, acceptance of students. It's making Chapman, it's strengthening our community. I think it's giving us more diversity. But then again, I'm a transfer student, and so this to me isn't overcrowding. But I can see why, because we're such a small school, and the parking has been pretty bad.
And you went to Orange Coast College, which is a very large community college.
It was huge. Yeah, parking was way worse than this.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
then again, you come here for the exclusivity. So.
Yeah. But of course, the overcrowding isn't just limited to parking. It's also spilled over to the dorms. There's been a lot of issues with, 3 people to a small dorm and 6 people to a bathroom. And a lot of people actually, they gave priority to freshmen. A lot of sophomores and juniors, if you were just a little bit late to getting a class, you didn't have a room. So you had to rush to get off-campus housing. A lot of people, I remember seeing on Facebook a week before school started, they were like, hey, does anyone have a room for me just until I find something permanent?
Yeah, I think that's probably where we're getting the most claustrophobia, probably in the housing. Luckily, I've never stayed in the dorms.
Me neither.
I'm a commuter, so.
Same.
Yeah.
I've always had off-campus housing, but I remember going into my friend's dorms like my freshman year, and it was 2 people for a room, and I could not imagine that.
Yeah.
2 people in one of those small rooms, I would go crazy.
Do you guys think this affects the students' quality of work or their grades?
I think if I was in a room with 2 other people, I don't know how I would study. I would it would be so distracting because with one room, 3 people living there, chances are there's probably always going to be another person there, and probably always going to be like conflicting schedules of like this person wants to sleep and this person wants to study. So.
And there's also a lot of personal issues
Space
between roommates. You're
that
naturally
could
going to
be
have
stressful.
And I think you would live in the library. I do already. I live with 2 people. Those are my parents.
Yeah.
But and I live in the library, and I think a lot of people stay in the library to study. But some people like to study at home in a more comfortable environment. And when you can't really have that, you're distracted by your roommates. It's hard. It's difficult. I can imagine.
I feel like it's also kind of affecting the class sizes a lot, because my first year of Chapman, my biggest class was a lecture class, and it was 32 people. And then every other class I had was under 20 people.
Yeah.
And now it seems like the classes are going to about like 25 people.
Right.
It's about the average. And I don't necessarily think it's affecting like the quality of my education that much, but I think that because I'm a screenwriting major, so all my classes have a lot of writing, and everyone wants to get a chance to read their work. And with that many people in a class, it's really hard. We have writing the adaptation together, and there's a ton of people in that
Absolutely.
class.
And that's, but compared to, say, a public school, a public university, this is a dream for. I mean, our class has probably I think 15
It
people,
is.
and that's a lot for us.
Yeah, Orange Coast College was like, the lecture halls were 300,
Wow.
200, 300 people, so it's definitely
There's
different. You're just a number there.
And it's what it is. I don't think one might be better than the other, but it's a different. You have to employ a different teaching style in terms of like mass lecture style, but we get a very personal workshop.
Well, you know what? I work in the communications hall, and the Chris, she kind of manages the office, and she told me that they're working on hiring more staff, more faculty.
Okay.
I think that's probably the best way to go. Because like I said, it hasn't affected the quality of my education, and I know that we're really lucky to have as small of a class sizes as we're doing. We're probably
I love it.
We're probably being a little bit snobby, like, oh my God, there's 20 people in my class.
Well,
Get out.
no, you're entitled to, you're entitled to what you pay for, and so in your expectations. So
So I think that if we employ more staff and maybe just build like one more dorm building, I think that the problem would be solved.
Yeah, I wish I knew what the dorming situation was, but I can't say I do because I'm a commuter, So, but I have heard people talk about how it's crowded and could be very stressful.
All right, we'll be right back after a quick commercial break. And I think it really is. Back from commercial break, I'm Aman Singh here on Table Talk. I'm here with Annie Pham and Danny Gomez. So let's talk about something really that's been in the news lately is Kelly Thomas, which is this schizophrenic homeless man who was beaten to death. He was 37 years old, and he was beaten by police for excessive force.
Oh, that's horrible.
And he did pass away. He was taken off of life support 5 days after his beating. So I mean, there's been a lot of controversy, and there has been a lot of issues with police brutality. Of course, Rodney King was the biggest one, and that caused the LA riots. If you didn't know that, and
I mean, there are so many other, instances when there's been police brutality, and so. Where do we draw the line on police brutality? What do you guys think?
Well, I don't know if you guys were here during the summer when it happened, but when it happened, it was a huge controversy, on the news all the time.
Okay.
And so I think it's sort of common opinion that it was way over, just totally unnecessary and ridiculously violent.
Absolutely.
And it's giving a really bad representation of cops from Orange County, from California in general, and
being a psychology major, I think this begs the question: are police well versed and enough? Is the training adequate enough that they understand, psychological abnormalities or psychological disorders?
Yeah, that was one of the questions by the media that's probably a large occurrence of why this happened is police aren't well taught in how to deal with psychological disorders.
Yeah.
Certain police officers are, but if someone with a psychological disorder comes in contact with a police officer who isn't well versed in this, then there's potential for mishandling of the situation.
Yeah. But I mean, nobody wears a sign that says schizophrenic,
Absolutely,
so it's tough. But what is, the damage done to him? I mean, it was pretty bad.
Absolutely.
He arrived
the
in a coma.
pictures were horrific, and looking at the pictures, it was like there's nothing that man could have done. I mean, that deserved that amount of brutality, unless he had he was unarmed.
Yeah.
He was not showing excessive violence towards the cops. He was just running away because he's schizophrenic and confused about being approached by these cops. So he tried to run away, and that provoked this horrific violence, and it was there's no excuse for it. And
I'm wondering how the police even approached him. Did they kind of approach him, you know,
Well, he was-
too aggressively? Is that what made him kind of, you know, like?
There were reports of a car burglar.
Okay.
And I think
And they thought it was him.
they thought it was him, and it was
wasn't
miscommunication, and they didn't realize they got the wrong person.
I mean, even
but
if they didn't know, you know, he's schizophrenic
Right.
too. I mean, the level of how he was attacked, that's just.
Even if he had burglared the car,
there's
you
still
don't
there's
beat somebody
methods,
that
and
much.
Exactly.
they're taught so extensively of how to safely and properly
approach
restrain
someone.
a person, right?
Yeah.
And you know, we compare this to the Rodney King beatings because a lot of people were, and you know, Rodney King, he was on PCP at the time. He had just
Okay.
came out of a car chase. He was getting pulled over. He had a lot of prior criminal offenses. He was getting pulled over, and he went on a car chase for, you know, helicopters were involved. They took him out. He was on PC. He struck an officer, and then this beating happened. Right. So I mean, you know, and it wasn't appropriate, but I mean, you can understand.
there's a little bit more of a catalyst.
I mean,
There's
he
more-
was
much more of a
unarmed,
catalyst,
you know,
yeah.
this guy was unarmed, and the police come in, they have, you know, they're armed, so I don't know
Right.
why it would take, you know, beating him down to a coma, choking on his own blood, you know,
Yeah,
I don't
it was
know.
an
I
unfortunate
feel so
stigma
bad
for
for
the
his
situation.
family.
I
and
feel
it's
really
so,
bad.
It was so unfortunate, and God bless his family,
Right.
and I hope that they find peace with what happened.
Right, absolutely,
Yeah,
and of course,
definitely.
the officers were convicted, but you know,
Well,
things.
two of them were,
Two-
right?
two of
There's
them were, right,
five,
right.
so yeah, I mean,
And yeah, of course, we give.
maybe this
our
will
hearts
gain
out to
more
their
And they
families.
weren't
attention
convicted,
on.
they were charged.
They were charged, right?
They haven't
Yeah.
gone to trial yet.
Yeah, and there's usually
Yeah.
multiple trials on.
I mean, I saw his dad on TV, and it was really heartbreaking.
heartbreaking.
It really is, you know.
And then
so,
they
I mean,
they had the same lawyer or the same
Who-
attorney, John Barnett, that did the
Rodney King, who defended the
Okay.
Rodney King officer.
John Barnett, yeah,
And a lot,
he's-
what I find surprising is that a lot of cops helped post the $1 million bail for the one police officer. I don't know how you can stand by a fellow police officer that goes so far against what you stand for.
Right.
Yeah,
The
which is
police officers
protecting
protecting
your
people,
citizens, yeah.
not destroying and annihilating.
Mhm.
And of course, people are saying that this was caught on tape, and so was Rodney King beating. How many of these things are happening that aren't caught on video cameras or so, you know? So that's the
Yeah.
question of how many times we're beating.
I mean, it goes back to the investigation. I hope they do as thorough of an investigation as they can, and hopefully, you know, we get more insight
Absolutely.
and awareness on, you know,
Right.
things like this. And I hope, you know, I hope his family finds peace. That's
Right.
just, I don't know. I just don't.
Well,
I don't
let's-
think it was necessary to.
Let's
do
jump
that.
into a lighter subject.
Please.
Again, going back to Chapman, the student union opened up. I know you guys are.
Oh yeah.
Everyone is very striking.
It's beautiful,
It's
equipped
beautiful,
with a
right?
fireplace, right?
Equipped with a fireplace. You haven't been there yet,
I
have
haven't
you?
been there.
Yeah,
so-
that's weird because everyone else has.
Okay, well, I mean, a lot of people are wondering, you know, like, well, I've heard people say, you know, is the fireplace necessary? You know, is it a safety hazard? I don't know.
And
So
I mean,
what do you guys
obviously, I
think?
think it was handled by professionals who install fireplaces.
Yeah.
But I
Not
don't.
just some
I find the
students,
place
hey.
the place is very striking. It's very nice to be in. It's a great milieu to be in. But I find it to be a little garish for what
Okay.
you know. This is a college, and someone was pointing out that that's where tours start actually when parents come and see
Yeah, I
this.
saw the parents. Maybe they'll, you know,
So that's the
marvel at
conspiracy
that.
of
I don't
that's
know.
why it was so
maybe,
nice, right?
Maybe.
Where they
Look
started
how
in there.
beautiful our fireplaces.
Absolutely.
Your children will be cold.
Do you envision stockings here? No.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, so,
But I mean, you know, it has its benefits. The old, I don't know if you guys remember what was there before.
I
Not
wasn't
as
here,
striking
so-
at all.
Yeah.
The food wasn't as
No.
good. And now they're holding, of course, Improv had an event there last night. Improv Inc. and Bad Boys Comedy
Ah.
had an event there.
Why am I so uninformed?
You were very informed. Just look,
Oh
there's
my
posters
God.
everywhere for these things.
yeah, I mean, no,
I'm always
it's beautiful,
at
but
Dodge.
It's beautiful, and I
garish
think
a
it's
little
useful.
bit,
It's
maybe.
garish a little bit, but you know what? I think the intentions were right. And I think
Right.
it's a great place to be. People like studying there. Everyone says, you know, this is a great place to be.
I
I don't really
wanna
like studying there.
go.
It's a little noisy.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah. You know, we're going to be right back after a commercial break, and we'll be discussing some movies that have been coming out this weekend at the box office. All right.
It's okay.
All right, we're back from the break. You know, just we wanted to end on a little much lighter note. I watched a movie this that last week it came out, Like Crazy, which was written by Chapman alumni named Ben York Jones, and he co-wrote the movie, and it was directed by someone. Yeah, all right, I don't know who it was directed by, but I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic movie. It was incredibly well done. It was very strong in its structure. It was really stylistic, and it had a sort of improv feel. All the scenes were improv by the actors. The acting was tremendous.
It was
a good storyline.
It was absolutely incredible.
It was all improv.
It was all improv.
Oh,
it was
really?
Felicity Jones and Anton.
Anton Yelkin.
Yeah, Yelkins.
Wow.
And he was and it was there was a Q&A after the movie with Ben York Jones, and he was talking, and a few people were asking how did you approach the script. He was telling us that he wrote it like a narrative because him and the director both experienced long distance relationships.
Okay.
So they wanted to write it like a memory. They knew they wanted it to be very like improv, very natural. So they wrote it like a narrative instead of like a script form, and they just gave it to the actors. The actors signed on. They probably created this relation, So it was just a very honest film. It was excellent. I'm not just saying that just because it was a Chapman grad. I honestly thought it was a fantastic film, and it won Grand Jury Prize at Sundance for dramatic film,
wow.
and Felicity Jones actually won Best Actress.
Yeah, I've been seeing the Dodge Film School like coming up in a lot of articles and things like that.
Absolutely.
I think we're really moving on up
We're
there.
moving on up there.
I'm
absolutely.
really excited for this film to come out in regular theaters. I had class, so I couldn't go, and I was so bummed because I think it's really exciting that not only are Dodge students making films are getting recognized, that they're also acknowledging their roots and coming to
Absolutely.
Chapman and bringing the film there and
That's a great
having
thing, yeah.
Q&As. And it's really inspiring to see people
Absolutely.
like this guy was in my position like not that long ago, and it's kind of like I can do it too.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Well, I'm not a film major, but I'm totally rooting for you guys.
Thank you. We
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I get so excited when I see Dodge Film stuff popping up, and like really, I mean, before I even came to Chapman, that was the first like segment of Chapman that I'd heard about. The first school was the Dodge Film School. Like a lot of, oh my God, they want to talk too.
they want to go
Are
see
those
the
parrots?
movie.
Okay.
No, they're parrots.
I swear they're green.
But yeah,
weird.
I think we're definitely moving up the ranks. We're making the USC and NYU sweat a little.
I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true. So if I'm wrong, don't kill me.
Go for it.
I heard that Dodge College had more applicants this semester than USC.
That's what I've heard too. I've heard
I
that too.
hope so.
And you know what? I think the talent at Chapman is really, and the student body is what makes this school. And I think
Oh yeah.
the current class is going to be out there and
Oh, yeah.
It's
making
moving
their
so
names.
fast, and I think that's why that Chapman doesn't have as big of a name as it deserves.
Absolutely.
It's because it's so young still. But I think that we're definitely moving up there.
Absolutely. And Ben York Jones, of course, all the success wished upon him. He's doing really well. And James Smith, which is a 2001 graduate, and he produced Drive, starring Ryan Gosling, which is
Yeah.
doing
I've seen
very,
a part of
very,
it,
very
yeah.
well.
It's incredible.
And just all the way, and we'll do well, and hopefully we're out there making our names for ourselves too.
Yeah, so everyone go see Drive.
Yes,
and
go
like,
see Drive.
yeah.
Go see Drive and Like
Visit
Crazy.
Visit
Like
the
Crazy
Dodge
is coming
Film
out
School.
October.
Check it out. It's beautiful.
Yeah, Like Crazy is coming out October 28th, and Drive is already out in theaters.
Right.
This is, I think, the end of the first episode of Table Talk. I had fun.
I had a really good time.
I
really
had a
good time.
blast with you guys.
Of course, I'm
Yeah.
on Sing, Annie Pham,
Danny Gomez.
Danny Gomez. We're having, we'll be back next Friday at 8:30. Check us out on PantherVision.com, PantherVisionTV.com. Yeah, PantherVision.com. Check us out. You can watch all the other shows: Dirty Laundry, Dirty Laundry,
Community Beat.
Community Beat. There's a lot of shows. Just watch them
Really
all. They're
cool.
excellent. And you
missed
can
a topic.
comment.
Yes,
We missed
give-
a topic. You
miss
can-
a topic. If you have a topic idea that you want us to talk about, send it in. Email it to us. On the website, there's going to be contact information, and you can talk to the general manager, and you can give him some ideas that you want us to
guy.
discuss. So yeah, we'll see you next week. Have a nice week.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. So Like Crazy, Ryan Gosling.